This is Jeff with Shout Out Minnesota, and we are here with
RL, formerly one of the members of Next.
RL, man, welcome back home, man.
Thank you for having me, man.
Let's first talk about the event tonight, because that's why we're here.
Well, I rarely come home unless it's for my son or something like that. And I got a call from Jeff Tobby, Mid-America Talent Agency, which was actually pretty much our first official management. And I hadn't talked to him in over a decade, and I was asleep. And I heard his voice, and his voice is something that you'll never forget. And I felt like I was 15 again. And he told me that there was some things going on with Lance, low-key, who was one of the people that discovered us. And I was here. I was like, tell me where you need me to be, what do you need me to do? Do I need to hitch a ride to Minnesota? Whatever I need to do to get there to help, and here we are.
All right. Previously, I've talked to KG, and I've also talked to Prof, and got a little background on you. I want your version of how everything came together for you.
Well, truthfully, it started with Lance and Prof. They would sneak us out to flight time, and we were hoping that Jimmy and Terry would sign us, but they were already working on some other groups, so they would sneak us out. I was in high school, so I would actually leave school, go home, take a shower, bring my homework with me to flight time, and we would record. And those demos actually got us a deal with KG. So a lot of the first album was half K and half, Lance and Prof. So they actually taught us. And the funny thing is, most of those records on that first album, like Cozy and I think Butter Love and stuff like that, was actually done at Mid-America Talent Agency Studio. So
all right. This is Jeff with Shout Out Minnesota, and we are here with
PROF T. That's right. Here in Minnesota, hanging out with Jeff. Shout out Minnesota, it's all good. It's love.
We can start with RL.
Okay, so the way that Next came to be was this. We, Lance and I were hanging out at the Juneteenth, right? It's this little thing they do every year, and it's a festival, and they have all these booths, and they have live entertainment. Well, we were actually getting ready to leave the place, and we heard something on the stage. We had to turn around, and I was like, what is that? And it was funny because immediately I was drawn to it. I said, that's raggedy, but it's good. Something is really hot about that. We gotta go holler at these cats. And we didn't know it was RL, T-Lo, and Tweet. And another guy, and he would kill me if I forget his name, Dino Mac. So, we approached him. We actually had to sneak them in the studio at flight time to work on their demo. RL was still in high school at the time too. So we were able to sneak them in late at night. We got the demo done, and it was actually T-Lo that stepped to KG when he ran into him at a concert when Naughty by Nature was in town and said, hey man, we're a group, we got some stuff. He said, oh, okay. KG listened to it. He loved it, called them, he asked them who did it. They said, yo, Lance and Prof did it. They were like, oh, what's up? They flew us out to Jersey, and we did the whole project, man. It was a good time, man. It was a beautiful time.
A lot of it started right here, right here in Minneapolis with Next. And they were a group called Straightforward when I ran into them. I met them on tour. We were actually out here performing. We had a show at First Avenue, at the club First Avenue. And they ran down on me, and they just gave me a demo tape up on the bus. And I listened to the demo tape. I loved it, and I just called them back and said, yo, who did this? And it ended up being Lance and Prof. Then from the group Low Key, I did the demo for them and worked on their stuff. So, you know, I didn't want to cut Lance and Prof out, so I called the whole crew. It had Lance, Prof, Tweet, T-Lo, and RL all come up to Jersey. You know, we worked out a deal, and we worked on a demo. And I had Lance and Prof do the stuff that they originally gave me on a demo, as well as work with me on some new records, and we did the whole next project.
All right. One of the words that was used to describe you was hungry.
To this day, you know, I think that my hunger kind of rubs some people the wrong way because I'm so motivated, and it hasn't changed. I love recording. I love what I do. I know how blessed I am. So a lot of times, you know, I'm not cool with lateness. I'm not cool with, you know, not appreciating this opportunity we have. So, you know, especially when I was younger, I'm sure that I rubbed people the wrong way because I was so hungry. And it hasn't changed. The #1 lesson, I know I was telling you earlier, Prof taught me the #1 lesson in my career, and it was, don't be mad when you realize everybody doesn't want it as bad as you do. And that's not necessarily bad. It's just that the hunger that I've had for wanting to be heard and wanting to show my art to the world has always been, I don't think it'll ever leave.
You got the love that I want. You got the love that I need. Girl, it's so smooth. You got that burning love. Will you be my wifey? Say you be my wifey. Will you be my wifey?
Now, you spent a long time with Next. It was a journey. Tell us your experience from the beginning into, you know, through your career, through the albums, and all the experiences going through that journey.
You know, people ask me a lot of times what is my favorite moment, and everything happened so fast, and I was so worried about success in the sense of you have a #1 record and you go, okay, how can I have another #1? And I was so entrenched in wanting to do more, wanting to be heard more, wanting to grow, that I really can't even single out a moment that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed the perks of taking care of my family, of being able to do things for loved ones and things like that. But as far as the journey musically, I look back on it now and wish I would have appreciated it more. So now that I'm a little older, I don't take things for granted anymore. It's different.
You also had a solo career in the midst of Next. You've had a lot of collaborations. You had one with Deborah Cox, and you, as well as like Eric Sermon. You name it, it goes on. How was your experience with those collaborations?
For me, it was all about growth. I wanted to just get my music out, and it wasn't a selfish thing. It was I recorded 50 records. I want to put them out some way. These records don't fit the image of the group. How can I put them somewhere else? It was never about outshining. It was really about my art. The biggest thing that I do now as a recording artist is I don't want people to look at me as a performer or a singer. I'm an artist. I write, I arrange, I come up with concepts for videos, I engineer, and I think that's the main thing for me. When you're an artist, you don't care if it's within a group setting, if you're in country western, if you're in rock and roll, you just want to display your art, and that's all it's ever been for me.
So RL, being, you said still in high school, had this talent and for songwriting, for singing, and let's talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, man. You know, the thing is when we first started working with them in the studio, I mean, he had never done it, so he was in awe, and he took to it like a fish to water. He immediately got involved in the process of production and songwriting. Actually, Butter Love, he and I sat down together and started to write that record. And it was cool because the collaboration, every bit, it just started coming, you know, we could feel it coming together, man. It was cool. I could sense right then that this was a guy that was hungry. RL wanted it. He loved music. He just encompassed him. He would call me all the time. He would blow my phone up. He would leave messages on my phone all day, every day. The dude was hungry, and I could tell. So anything that we kind of showed him or kind of guided him, he totally took it and ran with it. And that's how he ended up doing the Jaheim record and all the joints, the records he did with Divine Mill, the groups through Divine Mill, and other artists. He worked with Usher. He worked, I mean, RL, man, you know, totally a student of the game, a student of the music, loves it, and gives his all to it, man.
Lovers in the house tonight. Ooh, and the lovers in the house tonight. You got the love in you. Can I sing for y'all tonight? Before I tell it, get off your phone, Brandy. I'm about to spend it. You got that B-U-T-T-A-L-O-V. B-U-T-T-A-L-O-V. B-U, we gon' sing it. Oh, you got the love that I want. You got the love that I need.
Like you said, just to refresh about the hunger that he had to be successful, to show his, you know, emotional side, his songwriting skills, his vocals, and putting it all in there. And like I said, you were very receptive to that. And he also said to me earlier that he learned a lot from you. So he giving you a lot of recognition in that. So
yeah, and I appreciate it, man. It's cool because I learned from somebody. I mean, Terry Lewis showed me a lot. Because like I said, you know, Lance and I were signed to Jimmy Terry Lewis's company, Flight Time, and I learned a lot from that. And you know, so I was just doing what I learned, and RL just caught on to it. So I mean, he gives me props, and I appreciate it. And we did work together, but the thing is that he took what he learned and ran and jumped over all of us and did it on another level, you know. So,
and how instrumental was it? And how instrumental was it as far as music coming out of the Twin Cities, Minnesota? What kind of effect did that have that you see with a lot of the people around town and around the state?
Oh man, you know, the thing is that when we first moved up here, me and Lance, we were in a band, man. We had a band of 9, 10 cats. This was in the late 80s. So this was right when Purple Rain stuff started jumping off. And, well, actually it already happened. Actually, it was already moving into Janet Lewis's Flight Time, Explosion with Janet and Musician and Alex and all that. And we got in on that. And it was just cool to be a part of continuing the legacy, because that was the 80s. We are part of the 90s aspect of it. Low Key came out in 91. Next came out in 96, I think, or 97, or 1 or 2. And then, it, you know, that's the thing about this city. You know, music is important to this town, and you can see it everywhere. Much like in Austin or Seattle, music is a huge part of this city. And it's amazing to think that I'm a part of that history, part of that lineage. And, you know, hopefully, even though music has really changed a lot. Hopefully Minneapolis can continue to be so important to the landscape of music.
So where is it taking you now? Where are you headed to?
Well, you know, it's funny because people think that I always wanted to go solo. All I wanted to do was solo. It was never about the individual accolades for me. It was always about people around me that wanted to work as hard and be as devoted to the art as me. I still support the guys. I wish them well. I just wish me better. That's my favorite saying. Sometimes you grow apart, and they're real brothers. They're siblings. So that was always a little different thing for us. But for me, I just want the world to know I'm an artist. I'm not a singer. You know, I'm not that guy from Next, to an extent. I really want to show people who I am now. And I got my website. I got my new mixtape out. I'm traveling the world, getting ready for this album, and that's me now.
All right, you want to talk a little bit about the album?
Sure. The album is called 5:15. Just like my label is 5:15 Music. I was born at 5:15 a.m. and it's almost like Groundhog Day. Every day I wake up like I never created the day before. Like I never had platinum records, like I've never written for other artists and done all these things that I've done. I wake up with that same hunger every day, so it's like I'm born again. You know, not in a biblical sense, but in a musical sense, so that not only do I have the hunger, but every day I might come up with a different kind of record, a different concept, so my music doesn't all sound alike. I'm understanding the social media driven world now. I never understood that. It's always been about the music for me. The most frustrating thing is knowing that it's about followers now. It's about how many YouTube hits, and it's not really about the music. And I feel bad for a lot of the artists that are out nowadays, because my question is, in 10, 15 years, what will they be singing? With this microwave music that's out, you know, some is good, but a lot of it's microwave. Will they be able to perform that in front of artists like I do? I'm blessed to have, you know, a large discography of records and a catalog of records I can sing for other people. My biggest concern is who's going to pass the torch? Who's teaching the younger artists? You know, low key, Mint Condition, they taught us, you know, so we want to pass it on. But nowadays, with social media, you know, a lot of artists don't think they need the knowledge, and that's why you see so many mistakes being made.
Yeah.
I feel bad for the artists like Chris Brown that are so talented, that are young and make mistakes, because we all make those same mistakes as artists, but there wasn't Facebook and camera phones and YouTube and TMZ to catch it. So artists nowadays have to be much more careful. So just remember that, y'all.
Yeah, and I know Prof touched on that as well, how it's changed. You know, how you wish you could just kind of bottle up what we had and just take it with us.
But the funny thing is, it's always about the melodies. I do performances all over the world. And a lot of times they'll have me go on before an artist that has that hot song out right now. And I feel bad for them, because usually the audience is standing there waiting for them to get to their single, their whole show like this. And when I come out, it's like a cheat sheet. I get to sing all these records that everybody sings along and they know, and it's like a big party. And then this hotter, more relevant artist comes out and they do all these records that no one knows yet, and then they do their 1 or 2 singles. I just wish it was about the art still, and not about the art of deception, of saying, look, this is what I have. Look at my Instagram. Look at my Facebook. I'm over here. I'm doing this. Because the truth is, most artists aren't.
Yeah, and looking through your career is the progression. You can still see it. I mean, the hunger's there. You know, you still want to get out there. You still want to do it. You still want to perform. You want that live contact with the fans.
Some of it is ego, and some of it's insecurity. There's a fine line, because as artists, I think we're the most insecure. So in order for us to get on stage and let our insecurities out, we have to mask it with an ego. I know that most artists I know are really sensitive, and that's including me. So to get our art out to the world, is the most important thing.
So, fans, RL fans that are out there waiting for new music, how can they get a hold of you? I know social media is a two-way street,
right.
But if they want to follow you on Twitter, if they want to,
my Twitter is just RL, my Instagram is just RL, and my website is justrl.com. I got all types of content on there. I try to make it fun. Like I said, you can download 2 or 3 mixtapes that I've had out on there, all original music. I recorded over 100 records for the new album, so there's some that I'll take out and I'll go, you know what, let me get this to the people so they can see that I'm still here. Besides writing for, Usher, Jamie Foxx, Luther, let's see here, Lloyd, my goodness, mindless behavior, you name it. I just try to be out here because a lot of people are like, oh, I didn't know you write. Nowadays, people don't buy CDs and open it and see who did it. I remember we used to buy CDs and go, oh, Devontae, which songs did he do on this other artist's, album? I think that's another thing that happened with the digital age. But hey, we're here. We're gonna conquer. Tonight, you'll be able to hear that good music, that music you feel, and I'm excited.
RL, thank you so much for your time. And speaking with Shout Out Minnesota, one last shout out to the fans of Minnesota.
Yo, shout out Minnesota. Listen, everybody out there, I'm home, North Side Minneapolis representing. Listen, this is your way of being in tune to what's going on around here. Keep it locked, support, tell your friends. Shout out Minnesota.
1, 2, 3, come on!
Shout out Minnesota.